Welcome back to the shop. Today we are going to continue our road to independence. That means that we have 5 vorons sitting around, non-enclosed, and this is quite a big problem because I use a lot of technical filaments. So what we have is a bunch of just regular paneling to slap it on the outside, but in my opinion that is not going to be enough. Now, to make sure I'm not just making it up, we are going to do some A/B testing. The first one will be with the plain paneling, but before we are going to slam it on there, I also have some pre-made printed thingies right over here. And not only that, I also got some insulation, and we are going to see if passively heated chambers like a voron can benefit from insulation or not. That, and I hope that we can heat it up to 60 degrees without having to use a chamber heater. So in preparation to this video, I already started making a frame. So those parts are going to be for the next one. But in order to try it out, we are going to put some paneling in this one. And just to show you how this works, this just slides on like that. We drop it down, and now we have enough space and voids on the side so we can put in some insulation. Because right now with the voron, everything is super flush on the sides. That also means if we are going to use those plexi or polycarbonate paneling on the side, there is a high chance that we are hitting the sides of the flying gantry. Now with this frame, that is no longer going to be a concern. So this is one of those prints. This is going to sit right over here in the corner, and then we have some room to mount our paneling and for the insulation. Same is going to be true for the sides and on the top right over here. Also, the way I have mounted all this together, these have been printed on my Rhetoric right over here. The big boy got the nice big boy upgrade. If you want to see that video, there will be a link right over there. Now I have used ABS with a glass fiber in it. Why ABS? It just glues super easy. A little bit of acetone, a little bit of filament waste, it can be support or anything else. You make a little bit of a goop out of it, and then you get sturdy parts just like this. This has been chemically welded to each other. The acetone is going to melt all these parts together, making it one solid piece. And I'm pretty sure if this is going to break, it will not break on the seams, but a little bit further, so the joints will be a lot stronger than our regular printed parts. Now you also know why I absolutely love ABS and why I'm using ABS for everything that I make. Now in order to make these print ABS, let's see what we can do with the normal paneling. Okay, so everything is going extremely well. This is going to be the back side. We also have the top side. So if I turn this around, it should be starting to look something like this. Now, what am I doing? We are using some VHB tape. I'm just applying it on the sides and gluing it in. And as you see, we are starting to see the resembling of what should be Enclosure, I guess, is the name. Now, unfortunately, because of the voron things, there is a little bit of a hole or a slit right over here. We will have to tape it off for the testing because it will be covered with the insulation on the second test. So just to make it a little bit more fair, we will have to cover this hole so we have some sort of an airtight chamber. This VHB tape is going like crazy to get everything glued in. Oh my god, we are using a lot of tape. So let me continue with putting in these panels, and I see you when I'm ready. All right, so the panels are in, the T-nuts are also in here. Now it's time to put it over the machine and see if everything lines up or not. All right, time for me to turn in a bazillion bolts, and then we obviously also have to install the front door. Everything right now is enclosed and as close to stock. So that means that we do have a little bit more space because we had to make room for our future insulation. But right now everything is as good as stock. So what I'm going to do right now, close the door, heat the bed to 130 degrees. The hot end I will set to 150. That is going to be my heat up macro that we are going to do. And we are going to use the fan to blow some air around, and then we are going to see after half an hour and an hour what the temperatures inside this machine are going to be without any of the insulation I am planning to plaster on all the walls on the inside. So right now the only thing left to do for me is set the temperatures. So 130 on the bed. It tells me to not go above 120. So I need to adjust that in firmware. Our cooling fan is at maximum right now. We still need to do the temperature of the heated bed. So extruder 150 and then the heater bed at 120 degrees. So now it's time to close the doors. And the test is starting at 1913. We are half an hour in. It is 43. I did raise the bed temperature, so I went into the configuration, and as you can see, the heated bed right now is at 130 C. So what I'm going to look at is going to be the temperature of the EBB NTC. That is going to be our main board, and we can see we are already pushing 51.3 degrees, which is actually already pretty amazing. So for only half an hour, consider me surprised. This is actually already a pretty good temperature, 51.8. That is going to be the most realistic heating up cycle that I will run, which will be around half an hour. Everything stabilizes in here. Now I'm going to give it the 1 hour time. I want to see what happens after 1 hour. That will also give me a great idea on what is going to happen on longer prints. Because after half an hour, the print starts, you have your first layers. So around an hour, you are well and truly in the first few millimeters or centimeters of your print. And anything nearing 60 degrees will be absolutely perfect for ABS nylon and everything we want to do without having to use any assistance from an external heater. I would like to try avoid that. Now, one thing I'm going to do after an hour is going to be grabbing my thermal camera, and we are going to see what the thermal loss is going to be on this system, and then we can compare those results with the results after we have done the insulation. All right, time to let it heat up a little bit more. And in an hour, I will be back and we will see what the end temperature is going to be. And this is going to be the result. And it's actually not that bad, 57.4, but there is not a lot to gain in the last half hour. This right over here, this little dip is when the heater timeout went in, but I clocked it really fast. Now those temperatures are obviously with the 130 C bed. When we are going to use ABS temperatures 110 degrees, I believe we are going to get more around the 50s instead of the 60s. So next up is to remove all the freaking bolts, get this off and install this insulation. Also, one thing left to do is going to be looking at the thermal imaging of the print right now without all the insulation. For that, I have a thermal camera from the brand Fleer. It is going to look something like this. So in the front, we can definitely see that we are losing a lot of heat right over here in the middle. We are also losing a lot of heat on the extrusions itself. Now, I'm calling it a lot. In comparison with the rest, that is quite a lot. So what I talked about is definitely going to be true. We have the part right over here, the bottom 27.5, and then at the top we have a difference of 2 degrees Celsius. So we do have a little bit of a hot pocket down below. On top, everything looks pretty uniform. And then right over here, my poor job of getting these thermals in. We can see definitely that this is losing some heat. On the other side, we can see the same thing going on. 32 at the bottom. And we have around 25 on top. Now, doing all this work is not possible without a workshop. And if you don't have a workshop, you might want to use a service like PCBWay. PCBWay is a one-stop solution for all your 3D printing needs. They are not only offering 3D printing service in plastics, they are doing aluminum, titanium, and stainless steel. They also have a PCB service. They also do CNC milling. For instance, parts like this, which have features up top and features in the back, can also be perfectly made by a service like PCBWay. Fast delivery, attractive pricing. And if you have any questions about their products, they have a professional waiting around for you to answer all your CNC and 3D printing questions. Give PCBWay a try. There will be some links down below. And if you're a first-time user, you will get a nice little discount. So, interesting thermals. We can definitely see that there is a lot more heat accumulation down below. I believe this is from the flying gantry and the beams keeping a little bit of that heat down below, which is not a bad thing. Every time the flying gantry is going to rise, that the heat will stay where we are printing. Now, we could also see I did a very poor job of closing up that hole on top. If you are using that for your vorons, there is a mod in the back with the ventilation fan and all that stuff going on. That is going to be a very high heat loss zone. So I'm going to plug it up for good. We are going to print something custom because I do want to run the Bowden tube out of it, but that will be for later down the road. Right now it's time to insulate. And this should be the last bolt we need to remove in order to remove this top piece. And everything should now just slide off super easy. And it is actually pretty easy. And here we go, a blank canvas. So now the only thing we need to do is remove all the tape and then apply some sticky insulation and see if this actually makes a change. This is it, all the side panels are done, and I have to say it is actually pretty interesting to feel my own heat of my body being reflected by this foam. So time to put it on a voron and test it to see if we are wasting our time or not. Putting it back on should be just as easy. The only thing I hope is that we are not rubbing on the y-axis, otherwise we might have some artifacting going on. But the only way to figure that out is putting it on. So this enclosure got substantially heavier. It seems to be working out. Also, one thing, we are not using any aluminum tape to get the seals done. Right now we need to use 2 pieces of that insulation foam to make one panel fit. So in the future I will be using some aluminum tape to seal everything off nicely. So it seems that everything is fitting again. It actually looks pretty cool, but we are not stopping there. I also want to insulate the bottom of the bed. And for that, it's probably going to be better I remove this back again, but we have verified this is still fitting, which is nice. So for this step, I will need to remove the flex plate and I will need to remove the bed. So let's open the doors so we can have more room to work at. The bed right now only has 4 bolts. Then we are going to lift it up and we are going to do the same insulation on the bottom under the bed. So we are also insulating the electronics from the chamber heat. And there we have it. It also looks like if I move the flying gantry, which is what I wanted. So this is already amazing news. So now I'm going to make it home, put it at the same Z position, and then we will do a new test. Right now I can already see that our NTC is 28 degrees. So it's already warmer inside just from the insulation because the shop is still the same ambient temperature. All right. Time to do a final test and see if I wasted my time on this insulation. Have our update. We can see cartographer at 70 degrees. This is already a lot higher. And then we have our EBB NTC, 64 degrees. Oh yeah, this is about over 10 degrees higher than without the insulation, which is amazing actually. So, time to wait for another half hour. I can see that the line right over here is still climbing, so there might be some more gas in the tank. 1 hour in, and here are the results. We have 60 C in the chamber, and right over here we can see that the EBB NTC, so the board behind the extruder, is at 70. Cartographer is also at 77, but our thermal probe, which is chilling right over there, is measuring 60 degrees Celsius. Well, consider me impressed. 60 degrees Celsius all the way up here is not a bad result. And I honestly don't think for the farm I actually need a chamber heater. It is just that good. Yeah, this is so much better than I thought. So if you want the voron jacket, there will be a link down below. Just know that you will need to do some ABS gluing because I can't be bothered to make a more ingenious way of designing a jacket. Now, nonetheless, let's do some printing. I'm going to throw some ABS on this puppy. And yeah, we will see if we have any warping or not. And before I forget, let's do some thermal imaging to see what the before and after installation is going to look like. Alright, so this is going to be the front. We can see the aluminum extrusions are around 36 Celsius. The gap in the middle is around 50, and then the paneling itself is more in the 35, 36. So it is almost the same as the extrusions. Yeah, so it's 1 or 2 degrees less. But we have a very even looking heat signature. Now this is going to be very interesting. Right here in the back we can see we have the same temperature as before, 25 degrees Celsius. So we actually have the same leakage of temperature, only we are having a lot more chamber temperature inside. This is going to be the top side. And this is going to be the side profile. It seems that the left side of the machine is actually a little bit warmer than the back side. So no massive surprises. We can see we still lose heat and we still lose about the same temperature in heat. So 25 degrees on the back side, and we have a little bit more heat leakage right over here. But if I touch it, it feels quite the same as before. The only difference is going to be we have 60 degrees of a chamber temperature, and after 40 minutes we actually already reached that 60 degrees Celsius. So anything more than 40 minutes of heat soaking is going to gain us not a lot. So I would say that between 30 and 40 minutes this 350 millimeters cubed voron is at peak temperatures, which is actually pretty nice. All right, enough yapping on my side. Right now it is time to do some printing. Print is ready. I have to say, just looking from here in the dark, damn, if you don't have a voron, look away, because you are going to want to buy one. Pops off like a dream, and print quality, oh my god, I'm so excited. Perfect bottom layer. This we can fix with a little bit of heat. This is just from releasing from the build plate, but the beans, the potatoes, the print quality. Damn! The print quality. Damn, boy! Yeah, so absolutely freaking perfect. The other one, the same. Freaking perfect. Bottom layer, $1,000,000. Then the sides. Oh yeah, this is freaking awesome. So we have the parts to put in our LEDs. Now we need some diffusers to put on top so it doesn't shine in my eyes. Now I have these in my rhetoric. Now the rhetoric has bigger profiles, so these are matching the 2020 extrusions. So I just download them from printables. I will put a link down below if you want these diffusers. These are by 2 separate people. These are their names, but time to upload the diffusers, put in some LEDs, wire it into my printer, and call this video a day, because this freaking brother working perfectly. All right, let's go. And the last part of the lighting is also ready. Let's try to remove it without breaking these. So these are going to be the LED diffusers. Normally you would print them in white, but maybe I like a little bit of a red tint on my printer enclosure to give it a little bit more of that demon looking vibe we are trying to achieve right over here. So that means I'm going to remove the jacket once again, because we also want to wrap it with the carbon that we bought. Install the LED lights. Also, I have printed these with a macro to heat soak all the things. That means that we are using the temperature sensor that is on our toolboard to heat it up to 55 degrees Celsius, and then give it a 5-minute heat soak before it does all the things like this printing right over here. And the only thing I can say is that so far my first layers are absolutely perfect, no hassle. This is just amazing. Look at these.
Alright, so I have done all the things. The carbon wrap is on there. Now, this is the first time doing any type of a wrap, and it's not looking too bad. The last panel, this one, is looking actually pretty good, but the rest is mediocre at best. Now, doesn't matter, it gives me the look that I wanted, and we are now rid of those glue marks from the insulation, but nonetheless, the LED lights are in there. Let's turn them on and see if our hard work paid off. And there we go, we have lighting going on. I do believe that the red diffusers I used are looking amazing. It ties in with the rest of the build, the black and red, and I'm a big fan. Not sure about you, so leave a comment down below. We finally can see what's going on in our chamber. And right now, I believe it's time for one last thing. Let's do a freaking print, shall we? And here we are, the final results of what we have been done in this video. I have to say, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Everything seems to be working. Also, the carbon wrap around it makes it a little bit more pleasing to watch at, even though we have used the wrong size of foil because this was designed for 300mm cubed. I figured that out after I have done the first couple of prints that I was designing this frame on the wrong voron, which also meant that the stuff, so the stuff on the side that I ordered has been the wrong size, but nonetheless, it is what it is, and it makes it look a little bit less nasty than when the glue is showing up, except for this little border on top and the bottom. Otherwise, oh well. Vorons still have a place on this earth, and what's inside is going to be the biggest example of why I think Vorons are the printers, in my opinion, that need to be in your shop, because there is no one that is going to say what you need to do with this machine except for the guy who bought it. And also performance-wise, we have a completely printed tool head. We are going to do some modifications in the future, so if you want to see that, make sure that you're subscribed down below. We are going to do some CNC stuff in this machine because I have the VCT in mind. This is the Voron CNC tool head. Yet another tool head. The designs are ready. It is just waiting for a machine to arrive so I can compare my Maqueras to the new machine. It's the C500, by the way. And we will do some tool head changes on this machine. But I have to say that the stock tool head that I'm using right now, this is some kind of a bastardization of different files I could find around. It is working absolutely perfect. Now, the example right here on my hand is going to be a me issue. There was a floating head in here and I didn't support it. So, yeah, that one failed. So I did another one in here that is also an ABS-GF one, and I can see we were on the last rotations of this spool. So let's take a look at what we do have printed out and if the Voron is capable of giving me awesome results in the end. This was my first attempt. And as you can see, there was some hanging floaty parts that didn't get supported, but the side, this is the side, this is looking great, this is the back, this is also looking good, and then we have this part, so we have nice looking features. But because I don't want to end this video with another failure, let's see what's inside the chamber. Also, I need to do something about the configuration because the fan is continuing to run indefinitely right now. Not sure what's up with that. It seems that these are looking great. So this is going to be the fuzzy skin. I have selected this to be fuzzy. Also the insides, you're probably not going to see it, but the insides also have a fuzzy going on, and also the threads on the side is going to be a little bit more fuzzy. We seem to have a little bit of a artifacting right over here when the printer is slowing down, but this is still very good result. And also the inside is looking wonderful. Now can I actually assemble this? And it's a little bit tight, that is because of the fuzzy skin, so probably I'm going to get some clearance when we go back and forward, getting some of that fuzzy skin, removing it by just moving it back and forward. So yeah, you can definitely see where we are rubbing against the other part. Now that doesn't matter because it still rotates together. And right over here we have the finished results. So this has been quite the adventure getting the voron into this shape. It is now actually a usable product, and this is my worst printer, which means from the 5 I have built, this one gave me the worst results in the input shaping and all of that. So I'm looking forward to building 4 more of these. I'm not looking forward to all the work, but what we can see is the graphite bed in here. The R3 bed is doing a wonderful job of getting my first layers absolutely perfect with the cartographer. So if you want a graphite bed like this one, there will be a link down below. Also the files for my jacket will be available after some more testing, because right now we are hitting some tolerance issues. So when I'm confident that these are going to be like I want them to be, there will be a link down below where you can download the jacket and make this yourself. I will also include some links for the insulation that is going to be inside this machine. We could see a good bump of 10 to 15 degrees on the ambient chamber, and when we were at printing height, so all the way down, we could even see over 80 degrees Celsius. So we are definitely making a hot stove out of this voron. Alright, like always, I also want to thank the members of the channel. Thank you for supporting the cause that we do. If you want to join for only $1 a month, I try to do a little bit of a vlogging behind the scenes. So for everyone that is paying $1, you can see what I'm up to before these videos are all getting launched. If you are the middle tier or the highest tier, you get to see this video up front without the YouTube ads. So let me know what you think down below about this jacket and this printer in general. Thank you so much for watching, and guys, I see you in the next one.